Hi, my name is Mehul Shah, founder of Ultra Red Technologies. So a little bit about myself. I was born and brought up in Kenya, schooled here, and I went for university to the UK. Upon my return, I was working in a textile factory. What I found in the textile factory is that there's a lot of spare parts that you've got to change over. There's a lot of sort of jiggling around with machines that you have to do to make sure the efficiency stays on. I've always been a very passionate engineer at heart. So I studied mechanical engineering, and my dream was always to build something, to always build things. And I'm moving back to Kenya from studying in the UK led me to sort of see the struggle of actually what it takes to build something in Kenya and how difficult it actually is. So I embarked on a few projects of building solar concentrators, we were really struggling to figure out how do we build these structures that we want. They were complex structures, and the conventional ways of building here were what we call jua kali right now. So you take like a grinder, some welding, and try and figure out how to make precise items. So obviously, in my way of thinking is to think, how can I do this better? How can we make this better? Being a mechanical engineering student, I was exposed to computer-aided design, computer-aided engineering, and this is how the future of manufacturing is going to look like. So I took it upon myself with a friend of mine to form a company where people can actually come and we can help them design products from the ground up. Using all the latest software, all the latest technology, technologies such as 3D printing, which is our primary technology, and computer-aided design to help bring any product to life. So we primarily help the plastics industry initially. So we were working with the likes of South Africa, Ken Poly, Nairobi Plastics, the major players in the plastics industry in Kenya. And we were helping them develop products that would suit this market. Normally what happens with plastic injection molding is that molds are made in China and the products are made here. And there's a bit of a disconnect between the end users and the manufacturers, in the sense that they don't get the products that are going to be 100% fit for this market. That's where we come in. We can help the manufacturers design their products from the ground up. We can help them test using 3D printing, so that at the end, the end user will get the product that they really want and that they need. So our whole philosophy is based around design thinking, human-centered design. So what human-centered design means is that we take the end client and the end user in mind, and we start the design process from that stage. So who's going to be using this item, who's going to be using this product, how are they going to be interacting with it, how does it have to look, how does it have to feel, what kind of aspirational value does it have to have, and we take all that into account and start designing from a blank canvas. And the beauty with 3D printing is that there are no minimum volumes required, right? So if a designer comes and says, I want one piece, I want two pieces, then we can cater for that. If they want 100 pieces, we can cater for that. So the designer doesn't have to feel like they need to be a millionaire to start a business. Anyone with a good idea can start a business. So obviously the Kenyan market, and to be fair, not just the Kenyan market, markets around the world are still waking up to this technology. Right? 3D printing is quite new. It's an old technology in a funny way, but it's new in the sense that it's really come mainstream in the last 5 to 10 years. Now, what the world sort of struggles with is changing the mindset of how things are made. So everyone has their set mindset of, no, this is how we've been doing things for the last 50 years. Why do we need to change? Why do we need to do anything differently? This is where 3D printing really impacts. So what we found is that we have to spend a lot of time educating potential clients. So like I said before, we deal with lots of people in the plastics industry. Any plastic household items, we provide prototypes, we provide design services, and we can even provide small production runs for them to test out these designs. Another big field where we can help is any startups, any hardware, electronics hardware designers and engineers, to help with their casing needs, their casing designs, any other hardware requirements they have. We've worked with architects for construction and building designs. And the beauty with 3D printing is that you can create shapes that are not conventional. You know, you can start creating and thinking way outside the box. You can create models of buildings that have curves, that have you know, funny overhangs, that have very cool aesthetic looks that you couldn't previously do before. The conventional way to make architectural models is to use, you know, cardboard, laser cutters, and to sort of cut things straight and put them together. So with 3D printing, you have the option to start doing fluid shapes. We also work a lot with jewelry designers. So 3D printing is a big help for jewelry, for example. So the way the jewelry processing works is you create a wax model of the item that you want, and then that's cast in your precious metal. So the wax model for centuries has been done by artisans by hand. And now with the advent of 3D printing, designers online can collaborate, can design beautiful pieces of jewelry. A 3D printer will actually print the wax model, and that goes straight in for casting. So it's really shortened the time for new designs to come to market in the jewelry industry. We've worked with dentists. We've worked in the medical field as well. So to provide custom splints. We've even helped an amputee. And the beauty with 3D printing is you can customize your item to fit the patient's needs. And another big industry that we work with, I mean, it's sort of across the board, is spare parts. So, you know, from the onset of COVID and the war in between Russia and Ukraine, logistics and fuel pricing has gone through the roof. So for people to import spare parts is becoming increasingly more and more difficult. It's getting harder to get these items, it takes longer, it costs more. And we can actually provide solutions where we can create very tough, robust spare parts using 3D printing. And more often than not, we end up like sort of improving the part that we are replacing. And there's lots of materials now available with 3D printing as well. Yeah. So me and my business partner started this company in 2014. And from then it's been quite a steep learning curve. So from the first days of when we were designing products to our first 3D printer, the jump in terms of what we needed to learn and what we needed to get our hands on was quite steep, right? The learning curve was quite steep. So what happened was, initially it was quite tough to sort of design, print, even regular small items. But over the years, we really refined our skills with 3D printing. And what it's led me to sort of see is how easy it is to actually design and develop a new product. Right? So the journey for a new product normally starts like this. You know, you come up with an idea, say, well, you know, my cables on my table keep falling off, right? I never have the cable handy if I want to charge my phone. Okay, so let's develop that you know, problem a bit further. So what can actually help? So you can actually design something that clips onto your table that holds the cable in place so that cable never falls off. And with 3D printing, in a day, you can go from that design to print to have a ready to go product, you know, in less than a day, and it doesn't cost a lot at all to do that. So with that in mind, you know, we've actually learned that we can invite more and more people to come with ideas that they have and stuff that they want to create, but they've been holding back because they don't know how to. So we've actually figured out, you know, there's an easy way to show people how to do it and actually help them through the process. So a lot of, you know, students, a lot of people finding their way and figuring out, look, I have a good idea, let's figure out how to actually make this. You know, we handhold people right through this whole process, and it's quite easy. We've done the hard work initially, getting everything set up. Now it's very easy for people to come and say, okay, I want to create a vase that looks like, you know, their mother's face, for example. We can actually scan someone's face, turn it into a 3D shape, and turn that into a vase, and they can gift that for Mother's Day or something like that, you know. So it's all about imagination here. So as many people as we can invite to imagine, to create, to come up with ideas, to come up with problems they want to solve, the better for us, the better for everyone around. Yeah.